Guys, this is my first of what will probably be a series of videos just explaining what this has looked like for me to make a decision to leave my Beachbody business and pursue new endeavors. So for those of you who don't know me and maybe you've just stumbled upon this video, my name is Chelsea Skaggs. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I am passionate about empowering people and specifically women, but all people. And my background comes from social work and the education social justice movement. So empowering others is my life. That's what I breathe. That's what I love. And that has been such a part of my Beachbody story. And I assure you it's going to continue to be a part of my story as I move into new avenues. So again, I'm going to do a series of these videos because I know that a lot of people have been asking questions. They've been curious why something that has been such a huge part of my life, like why I'm stepping away from it. What does it look like to move into a new space? What does it look like to leave something that has been such a part of your life and your identity? I know that a lot of times when we're in these kinds of businesses, we're in these endeavors, we come across times where we wonder, is this what's right for me? Is this just hard in this season, or is this a time for me to step back and step in a different direction? And so these are things that I have been discerning for the last few months. And I have come to a conclusion at this point. I didn't rush myself. I gave myself grace. I gave myself time. I was openly processing this with a couple of close friends as well as my husband to get to this conclusion. So again, like I said, I had been coaching with Beachbody for a little over 2 years, and I have to say that I did my first accountability group about 3 years ago almost now, and I needed it so much. I needed that support. I needed that structure. I needed that community to give me a space to transition into self-care when I had completely lost myself in so many ways. Joining that first accountability group, getting in 30 minutes of exercise a day, learning how to eat well, and being a part of a positive community of women, it radically changed my life. And I am forever, forever grateful for that and for how Beachbody provided that opportunity for me. A few months later, I moved into coaching because I was so passionate about it that I wanted other people. I knew that there were other women who were in the same place that I was, and they needed something to support them and to get them going. And so I entered the coaching realm and have been doing that for a little over 2 years. And I will tell you that it has provided me so many opportunities to grow. It has given me confidence. It has given me passion. It has opened my eyes to so many things, and it has laid a foundation that I believe I will carry with me for the rest of my life. So I, first of all, just say how thankful I am for that. But as with a lot of things in life, sometimes we get to this place where we have to analyze and consider if what we're doing is still serving us and is still serving its original purpose. And a few months ago, I started to ask myself and wonder if this was really a feasible business for me, if it was something that was going to allow me to stay at home with my son. Because when I started it, I was teaching full-time, and so I was doing this kind of as a hobby, and that was working great. It was giving me an outlet. It was giving me a place to pour my passion, and I loved that. And then I got pregnant with my son, and I knew that I wanted to be home with him. And so I dug my heels in to my Beachbody coaching business so that I could stay home with him. Now, we made a lot of financial sacrifices for that to happen, and coaching did supplement our family income. It did not, it didn't cover what I was making as a teacher, and I know that it is different for every single person. Like, income earned is different for everyone, and I will say that I was not spending full-time hours on this business. I was doing it in a few hours a day, but I was putting a lot of energy and effort into it. I was running groups every single month. I was supporting new coaches. I was doing a lot, and it was something I enjoyed. So it really gave me a place to still feel like I had goals, I had a drive, I had a place to channel my energy, as well as being a mom, because I have been a very career-driven person. I love growing with other people, and so it really served a purpose in that time. But earlier this year, I started to consider if this is something that I wanted to do full-time and if it was going to be feasible for me to do full-time. I truly believe that there are people who can make a full-time income out of this. They can make a full-time job out of it. And so I dug into what does it take to do that? And are those things that I want to do? Are those things that I can maintain a passion about? Around that same time, I was diagnosed with something called SIBO, which stands for small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, and I'll actually share a lot more about that in a subsequent video. But that was like another red flag where I was like, okay, I have this health issue going on, and I'm super thankful for how I learned about clean eating and how I was learning to address gut health. However, I had this other underlying issue that probably takes some different type of support and different type of energy and research. So I dug into that. What I realized is that Shakeology, which is a huge factor in in a Beachbody business, is not really compatible with my treatment right now. And so that was a red flag for me. I continued on, and I felt a little uneasy though about having a supplement at all, because I wanted to really dial into all whole foods that I could really with SIBO, with my condition, you want to figure out what foods are triggers for you. And so when you have something that is, a supplement of a ton of different foods, then it's really hard to isolate those. So that's why I stepped away from it. And it became harder and harder for me to encourage other people to do something that I wasn't doing. Not because I don't believe in it, but because my mind is in a totally different place. So that got me thinking more and more about, is this sustainable? So I told my husband I was going to give it 3 months. I was going to give it all I have. I was going to take my son to daycare for a couple hours a day. I was going to dig my heels in. I was going to learn what people are doing who are making a full-time business out of this. And I did. And I learned from some amazing mentors. I got to work with some incredible people. But it became more clear to me that the things that were making this business work were not necessarily things that I felt like I wanted to do long term. And not that they were bad things, they just weren't necessarily compatible with where I want to be and how I want to grow and how I want to give back to people. And so kind of the culmination of that really got me to the point where I was like, all right, this is probably only going to be something I do for a little while longer, but I love running accountability groups. I love our coaching team. I love the community. There's so much that I love, so it's really hard for me to step away. The last factor that kind of sealed the deal, made the decision for me, and made it a little more quicker than I actually anticipated, was that my husband found this opportunity and this project that he started working on with some other people locally. And to be honest, at first I was really frustrated with him because I felt like we had so much going on. I was trying to really dig my heels into my Beachbody coaching, and then he brought something else into the picture. And he, I trust my husband. I trust his word. He was really excited about it, but I was very apprehensive. So it took about 1 to 2 months of him working with this team and working on this project before I realized that it was actually something that aligned so much with my passions and my goals. And it was an opportunity that we could pursue together as a family. Beachbody was great for me as a mom, as a wife, and my husband tried really hard to enter into the business with me and team up with me, but we just found a lot of challenges with that. I know some people make it work, and that is awesome. For us, we just didn't. And so to have this different opportunity that my husband had actually found and become a part of, and to realize that it was something that we could do together as a couple and really integrate it as a family, that was so appealing to me, because I wanted to make sure that if we were doing business meetings, we're working with teams, things like that, it was so cool to think that our team could be a combined team, that we could build this opportunity, this team with other couples, other people that really bring fire and passion into our lives as a couple. So I met with his team, I went to a couple events, and I realized that the project they're working on is just so close to my core. As far as Rewind, I talked to you guys about how I was in the field of social justice and education and bringing rights to people and empowering people. And this project they're working on, it does just that. It empowers people. It brings them rights. It just evens the playing field in so many ways. And that is something that I realized I could get behind. I love spreading health and wellness and even the Beachbody products and opportunity to people. But this is something that I can literally share with anyone and everyone because I think it applies to anyone, man, woman, it doesn't matter age. It is something that can benefit every single person I come into contact with, and that is really exciting for me. So I kind of made my decision at that point. Once I realized that I could really get behind the project he was doing, I made the decision to join forces with him. Now, as a disclaimer, I probably would have stuck with Beachbody just to run the coaches or to run the challenges, to be a part of the community, and for all the things that I enjoyed. However, they do have a stipulation that you cannot be involved in another similar organization. And the project my husband is working on, while it's structured very differently from Beachbody, it is still considered a network marketing company. And so I could not be a part of both. And I knew that I was going to have to make a decision sooner or later. And I'm the kind of person who I want to give my full attention to something. I want to be all in. And so I decided to make that decision more proactively than reactively and, let my Beachbody coaching account close and go into this direction along with my husband. Now, it's really exciting because I am still very invested in health and wellness, and especially with my own story of SIBO and that whole area of digestive health. I'm really excited about digging my heels in there a little bit more. I'm also really excited about some projects that I've been working on over the last year around mindset and empowerment and self-love that I just haven't been able to give much attention to. And this is opening some doors for that. The project I'm working on with my husband, it doesn't require time in the same way that Beachbody did. It is offering something really amazing, and yes, I have to put energy and work into it. However, the work ratio is just very different, and it feels freer, and is giving me some different opportunities and options. And so that's just a breeze over. I'm really excited to dig into this more because I feel like it is a time that I'm really turning a new leaf and dealing with my own identity, dealing with what it looks like to pursue your passion, to stay true to yourself, to appreciate something that has given you so much life. Again, I say that a million times. Beachbody has given me so much, so many opportunities, so much life, and I will be forever grateful. I know that I wouldn't be able to move in these directions that I'm moving now if it were not for the foundation that Beachbody had laid for me. But I look forward to just digging into this a little bit more, being open and honest. Those of you who know me, you know that authenticity is like the greatest value to me. So I am an open book about this. I'm looking forward to continuing these conversations and to just sharing what this progress and transition looks like. So thank you guys for being a part. Thank you for watching, and I will be tuning in with more updates. And if you have specific questions, feel free to reach out, send those to me, and I can make some subsequent videos to address that. Thanks, guys.